As an actor, I am fascinated with stories. It's amazing that something like this still exists. And Singapore is a perfect source for this. Whoa! What surprises does it hide? Or mysteries to answer? Join me, Adrian, as I go on a journey to explore and unravel Singapore's secrets. Here on History Mysteries. I'm heading to an island which was home to Europeans as far back as 1825. It also houses one of Singapore's biggest oddities and mysteries. What am I talking about? It's Pulau Ubin. Now, on the southwestern side of the island, there is a shrine, popularly known as the German Girl Shrine. Now, who is this German girl? Why is there a shrine dedicated to her? And what does she have to do with the fact that annually hundreds of people, including visitors from all over the world, visit this shrine with offerings of fruit, alcohol, and even cosmetics? To find out more about this mysterious German girl, I'm meeting up with historian enthusiast Sandy Wang, whose research focuses on early settlers and traders on Ubin. Very specifically, the reason we're standing in front of this structure here is I want to ask about what you know about this mysterious German girl.
The legend narrative goes something like there used to be a German girl who was living here with her family, who were plantation owners of this coffee plantation in Ubin.
Okay.
And during the First World War, the British started arresting all these alien enemy subjects. And she tried to run for her life, but she fell to her death at one of the hills during the arrest. Yeah. And then the locals found her, and then they built this shrine for her because apparently her parents were nice plantation owners. So the locals actually built this shrine for her. That's according to the legend.
So historically, did the British government even round up German civilians during World War I for internment?
It was more of an administrative kind of situation when they tried to intern the Germans. So they would actually ask them to report at this particular time at the jetty, and then they'll ship them off. So the men and women and children, they were all dealt with differently. So the men would be interned either at Tanglin or sent to St. John Islands, where they will be sent to Australia at a Holsworthy internment camp.
So it was a very orderly, very systematic
and it was it took over quite a few months. Women and children were given the option to head over to neutral places, say Java or the Dutch East Indies, or they could go further up north to the unfederated Malay states. Would historical facts support this tale of a German girl and her family being on Pulau Ubin? Who were these European settlers living on the island in the 1800s? To be honest, they were not settlers, but they were estate owners. So they were estate owners of the Pulau Ubin estate, but then they were not actually living on the island. The three owners of this Pulau Ubin estate, they came here to Singapore around the 1870s.
So were there technically actually three families?
I'm not sure if they were, the whole families came over. But there were three European men who actually came together to buy this plot of land. Yes, so the first one was Daniel Brandt.
Where was he from?
Daniel Brandt was, his nationality was Austrian.
Yes. Okay, so Austria.
Then we have Hermann Muhlinghaus. His nationality is German.
Representing Germany. Muhlinghaus.
The last one was Thomas Heslop Hill. He's from England. They bought the whole plot of land together. This part here, it was for plantation. They wanted a coffee plantation, but half of it was devoted to coconuts as well. So the first time they bought over here, they cultivated 50 acres of coffee and 50 acres of coconuts. And in 1892, both Thomas Heslop Hill and Hermann Muhlinghaus transferred the ownership of this plot of land to Daniel Brandt solely. So this plot of land has been associated with Daniel Brandt & Co. for the most part of the time since 1892.
How successful were these plantations?
It carried on at least until up to the war, and then it transferred to the Serangoon Rubber Company. In 1915.
Like completely transformed.
Yes, but it remained a place for plantation. So it's different crops, but it remained a plantation land.
So there might be something to the German girl legend after all. Maybe some details like her nationality or the year she died might be wrong. But there seems to be some credence to this bizarre tale. Let's see if the shrine's caretaker can tell me more. Uncle, 你在这里打理的多久？
差不多20多年了。
可是它的那里面有一个神像啊，是不是那个姑娘的神像？
对呀，他手拿个咖啡
啊，对，我
咖啡机啊，
就是要问他手上拿什么？
他以前的老爸是这边的咖啡园主。
那你知道这个德国姑娘的名字吗？
不知道，
不知道。她姓什么也不知道。
不知道。
那这个庙的名字是什么？什么我听过是那杜
那杜姑娘。现在建庙了就改成柏林院。我以前还在山上哦，有个工厂啦，走了不顺，每次都坏，他就去问神，神啊就问他想要建个庙给他，他就走了就 OK 了，顺了。
这个庙以前是在另外一个地方是吗？
对，在山上那边。从小我5岁啊，有跟
你爬上
有跟这个阿嬷上去，他带我上去看。
那为什么要搬到这里呢？
因为要采那个石矿啊，石头弄到征用那个地啊，他要搬来这边咯。
那现在比较方便了，在这里
在这边啊，对呀，不用爬山。
对
以前很高嘞。
So when the shrine was moved to this location in 1974, the German girl's remains were exhumed. The remains, including a crucifix, strands of hair, and coins, were said to have been placed in an urn. But there was soon to be another strange turn in this fascinating story. 听说原本的骨灰瓮是被人家偷了，是吗？
是啊。
为什么有人要偷？
他那个筹码票中了玻璃，他就来拜拜咯。他买那个胭脂水粉啊、锅龙水啊粉啊来拜咯。
他们认为那个这有好运气，所以把那个好运气带回家的。
对呀。
你没有想过要？
没有，
最好不用了。
最好不要。
Then 现在有新的骨灰瓮了，是吗？
好嘞，新的这个咯。
里面是什么？
不懂了，我没有看过，没有。
不敢去动
不敢去动。
OK。那原本的骨灰瓮是多大的？你知道？
比较小一点。
比较小一点，这个比较大。
这个比较大一点。
The German girl shrine in Pulau Ubin throws up more questions the deeper I delve. Yet, this unsolved mystery hasn't stopped first-time visitors.
This particular shrine actually caught my attention. It's like, I've been here like 20 over years ago, but I didn't know about this shrine.
Or those who have come for divine intervention and blessings.
It would be good to pay some respect and at the same time pray for some wishes.
Or those who have discovered other explanations for the origins of the German girl. Like Kenneth here, also known by his online persona Qi Shaoye, who has a vlog that examines the history of local temples and shrines. So what is it about this shrine that particularly fascinated you, that you wanted to find out more about it?
So this shrine fascinates me because, yes, it's so mysterious. There's no concrete evidence to show that where she's from, how she died, you know. So I start to ask around.
Right.
So I went to one of the temple in Ubin, Gong. So they mentioned that this Ama, her husband, played his part in bringing the remains of the German girl down. So from there, I start to probe in. I start to ask her more about history of the German girl. And her version is German girl did not fell from the cliff and died. German girl escaped and then she was sick and then she died on top of the hill. At that time, this Ama, her husband, participated in the excavation of the German girl.
Right.
The shrine on top of the hill down to this place.
Wow.
So when they start to move her stuff, they found coins in her hand. They put her hair, cross, and all these coins into an urn.
Okay.
An urn and bring down here. And then they erected a rundown shed over here so that people can continue to pray to her. People thought that this coin is from Victorian. When Amma showed me the coin, because Amma hold one of the coin, And then we went to do some research. The coin is actually from the North Borneo era.
The German girl's altar is adorned with all manner of interesting offerings, such as powder boxes, makeup sets, water bottles, and even beer. But perhaps the most bizarre manifestation of the German girl comes in the form of a Barbie doll. After the original urn was supposedly stolen, it was replaced with another urn, and it was presumably empty. The Barbie doll was then placed in front of the new urn to be a more significant focal point of the altar. But how the Barbie doll got there is also quite fascinating. So I believe there's a doll that's part of the shrine?
It used to be a Barbie doll.
Okay.
Yep. So because when they shift the remains down here, and there's no effigy, right? And then one day, one of this resident of Ubin, migrated to Australia, and then he had a dream. That the German girl asked him to go to one place to buy a Barbie doll. Yep. And then he had this dream for consecutively three nights.
Wow.
So he went to the shop there, he found the Barbie doll. Yep. So he bring the Barbie doll back here and become the effigy of this German girl shrine. Yeah.
As a representation,
yes,
symbol
of
this German girl.
Correct.
And this is a resident or a descendant of a resident who used to live here?
Correct.
Wow. Now imagine having a dream 3 nights in a row about a German girl asking you to buy a Barbie doll from a very specific shop. And then when you go to that shop, you find that exact Barbie doll that you saw in your dream. I'm getting chills just thinking about it. But does this mean that there's something paranormal about the German girl shrine? Well, I know just the guy to help me with this. Meet Noel Boyd, one of Singapore's most well-known paranormal investigators who has led numerous investigations around Singapore's paranormal hotspots. So Noel, now I'm sure you're very familiar about the legend of the German girl shrine on Ubin, right?
Yeah, I've been there a few times. Yeah, it's a very interesting place because it's always changing.
Right.
So I think there are people responsible, they feel that they're doing a good deed, so it's always renovated. There's always something new about it.
Right. Actually, it's very interesting that you say it's always changing, because I guess people's perception is that Ubin is a place that's kind of almost frozen in time, but you think it actually is evolving and changing. Or at least the shrine is, right?
Just a shrine. Because a lot of people go there, right?
Right.
To pray, and a lot of them want to win the lottery and such. Yeah. So I think if they do win, so they do something nice in return.
Have you heard about this dream that one of the villagers had about a Caucasian girl that asked him to buy a particular Barbie doll, and he actually went and bought the exact same Barbie doll? Now, do you think a dream like that is a real thing, or a manifestation of a spirit trying to communicate with us?
Ghosts have been known to be able to communicate with us humans through dreams. So a lot of times people do have dreams of this nature.
Right.
Yeah, so it's not uncommon.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, but the fact that this guy had this dream like 3 times in a row, and then he found that exact Barbie doll. Yeah, I think that's pretty unique, no?
So, as a paranormal investigator, I'm sure you've had your own experiences on Ubin itself. Can you tell me about some of it?
Yeah, I mean throughout Ubin, but the one at the shrine was unique, because whenever we asked a question, the response was almost immediate. So we ask questions like, do you want us to stay? And then we get an immediate response either on the K2 meter or the Ghost Meter Pro. Yeah, but I don't know if it's the German girl that's haunting the area or a fire that happened many years ago. Right? I think in the 60s or 70s there was an opera show, a Chinese opera show, and then there was a huge fire.
Wow.
So a few people died. So I don't know whether it's them that's haunting the area or the German girl.
Wow. So do you have anything to actually show me from your investigations?
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
Yeah, so
Let's take a look. Ooh, okay.
Okay, so here we are, and we are at the shrine. Here, this is the K2 meter. So it detects EMF signals that's in the area. So you've got to be pretty close to the meter for it to react. So when it does, it lights up. So we ask questions like, is there anybody here? If there is, touch the meter. And then if it's immediate response, then we can pinpoint like, yeah, something's trying to communicate with us. We are sitting just outside the shrine.
Is there anyone here?
And you can see the K2 meter working now.
Yeah.
And there's nobody around us.
Oh my goodness.
And then it was at a certain point where the dogs started howling as well.
The dogs are going crazy.
I think we were here for like maybe half an hour to 45 minutes. And that's pretty awesome because a lot of other places that we go to, it's, you know, you got to be there like 3, 4, 5 hours. Yeah. So of all the places in Ubin, yeah, this is one of the most active locations when it comes to the paranormal.
The one that made the K2 blink. If you are the one that made the K2 blink, you can touch the K2 now.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Oh,
Right?
my arms and legs just... It's almost like it's a current, you know? It's like this wave
I'm totally getting chills
of
right now.
pins and
You getting
needles.
chills?
It's not
Okay.
chills, it's just like a wave of something.
My goodness, that looks creepy as hell. Do you want us to leave? If you want us to leave, I want you to touch the K2 now.
Will you look at that?
Do you want us to stay? If you want us to stay, I want you to touch the K2 now. Touch. Ooh, okay? Straight away. That was very clear.
Yeah. And I think at this point, everyone's feeling uneasy. Like you know that something or someone is near us.
Yeah.
I'll run if I see a really big squirrel.
Oh my goodness. Okay, that sounded like laughter to me as well.
I'll run if I see a really big squirrel.
So at the back of us is the shrine, but everyone thinks, right? All three of us, at that point in time, we felt that there was something in front of us.
Right.
Right, yeah.
Ooh, there again.
It's very easy.
Whoa, that is intense. Okay, do you think that was a German girl manifesting herself?
A part of me wants to say yes, it's a German girl, but I feel that it's the ghost from the Chinese opera, you know, the fire I told you about? Yeah, especially because the voice that we captured at the end. To me, it's a male.
Right.
Yeah. So I think that is not the German girl that's haunting the area, it's the ghost from the Chinese opera.
Well, I think you should go and investigate some more for a definitive answer.
You know what would be good if you follow me? That's
No.
a brilliant idea, right?
Although Noel has experienced some paranormal activity at the German Girl Shrine, that's not to say that it's haunted. Personally, I'm not going to stay overnight at Pulau Ubin just to prove it either way. I say, live and let live. On the flip side, my trip to Pulau Ubin has raised more questions than answers because there really is no tangible proof that this German girl really existed. I mean, no one knows who she was or what her name was. But what we do know is that over the years, this shrine has become a pilgrimage point for many from all over. Personally, I think that someone should open a coffee joint right next to the shrine so you can have a cuppa and a story to tell. I'm Adrian Pang, and this is History Mysteries.